Hey guys, my name is Duncan Phillips and I'm the drummer for the Newsboys. Well guys, we're on the middle of our tour right now, of our spring tour. Actually, we're getting towards the end of our spring tour. We're in Rockford, Illinois, playing this great arena here today. So, it's been selling out everywhere we go. We've just been having a great time. We're getting towards the end of it, which is always a kind of a cool thing because you get in the middle of a tour, you're starting to get a little bit anxious, like what am I doing with my life? You know, where's my life going? But we're getting towards the end of it. We see the light at the end of the tunnel. So we've got about 6 more shows on this tour, playing venues just like this, and then I'm going to the beach for a long time. Now I'm going to the beach for about 3 or 4 weeks, so I can't wait for that. Well, we're going to be talking about my gear today. Newsboys has been always been known for one of those bands. We like to put on the best show we possibly can, and I've been doing this for a few years now, and it was one of those things back in the day. We didn't have any songs, so we had to kind of set ourselves apart. You play a lot of festivals during the summer and there might be 20 or 30 bands on. How are we going to be different than anyone else? If you haven't got the songs, what are you going to do? So we said, well, why don't we spin the drums? So we spent a lot of time and effort. We met with an engineer, with our managers. We put this idea together, what we wanted it to do. So this one goes up about 18 feet in the air, this one here. But then it's kind of weird stuff, we'll touch on this later, but how do you then attach my DW drums to the riser? Because drums usually just sit on the ground, right? So we had to design and engineer a method of attaching the drums to the riser so they're not going to fly off when I go spinning around. So, and that was another whole thing. It's not only building the riser, how do you attach the drums, how do you make them stay, how do you still make the drums sound good so the shells themselves aren't getting choked and stuff like that. So there's a little bit more science here. It's a ton of fun, but there's a little bit more science behind it. Unfortunately, yes, we have had some issues before. I mean, it's like a Rector set. It's like every time it gets torn down every day, it gets set up every day. You know, nuts can strip out, stuff happens. If it's Murphy's Law, right? If it's going to happen, it will happen, especially with stuff like this because there's so many moving parts on it. So, I have had stuff, cymbals swing out on me. I've had snare drums fall off, but I love my snare drum, so I held on to it. I forgot what I was playing. I held my snare drum, make sure it didn't hit the deck. And, but yeah, we've had nothing major. I have got caught kind of like this a couple of times, and that's always not good because usually you're spinning, you kind of have moments you can breathe during the spin. When you get caught like this, you just can't breathe. There's nothing you can do, so you just got to hang on and make it look like it was a part of the show, even though it's not. But we're going to group a great bunch of techs, so they usually get me up as quick as they can, and so I can start breathing again and do my thing. I remember when we first first made the spinning rise. I was in a warehouse in Nashville. And I remember my managers taking me up, my production managers taking me up, say, you cool? Yeah, I'm cool. I remember them tipping me all the way forward. I think I'm cool. And then when they started spinning me, I thought, I'm not cool. I can't do this. I didn't think I could do it because it's just as a drummer, you're just not used to moving like that. But I remember we took it anyway, typical Newsboys style, we took it anyway. And I remember the first show that we did with the spinning drum rise, I was in front of 10,000 people. And in my brain, I thought, there's no way I'm going to look like a ding-dong in front of all these people, right? So I'm just going to do it. So I had all this adrenaline going, and I just did it. And, it's pretty much the same every night. It's one of those things. I kind of know what's coming now, but I still got to prepare myself. And there's still an element of adrenaline that kicks in when that thing tips over that I do not want to look like a ding-dong in front of all these people tonight. So there's that.
Hey guys, my name is Matt. I am Duncan's drum tech. I'm the one who sets this beast up every day. It takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to set up every day. The first thing we do is this machine comes in 2 parts. You have the machine itself that rolls in, and then this wheel right on top is a separate piece that we bring in. We set it right on top. It's all bolted down with these huge lug nuts, so it is very secure. And then what we do is we put in all these cymbal stands. We set all these down on top of the wheel. They all secure in there very well with bolts and nuts, and then we do the toms as well. Everything is bolted down, so it's all secure. So Duncan is very safe. His seat is bolted down. Everything is done very safely, so Duncan doesn't have a problem each day. So guys, right here, this is the control box. This is what actually controls the machine that takes it up and down and spins like you see each day. We have a guy who runs this machine, and we also have another guy who's on the other side of the machine who's actually pulling the cable that supports all the microphones, because it's not a wireless set, it's all hardwired in there. So we have another guy who's makes sure that it's safe, that cable does not pull too quickly or too slowly, because if it is pulled too slowly or too quickly, you can get tangled up. The machine could get jammed up and cause serious problems for Duncan, or even us down here below. It could cause some serious issues. So it's definitely a team effort with a guy running the machine, and over there we kind of communicate with each other, watching each other, watching the cable, and making sure we're all good and everybody's all safe, and we go home and see our families at the end of the week and have a great show.
And that's always good, right?
Yes,
that's always a good thing.
Yes, it is. So guys, here we go. Here we are with the machine, the control here. So we're actually going to take it up for you guys so you can actually see it a little bit in action. Now we won't be able to spin it because during the spin, like I said, we're pulling the cable free, so we can't do that because it's already prepped for the show. Our show is here in a few hours, so we got to keep it set up for that. But I will take it up for you guys and tilt it over so you can at least see that part of it. So all it is, we already have the machine turned on, we have power, and all we have to do to take it up, you turn this knob right here and hit start, and then you see the machine is starting to raise up, and like Duncan said, it goes up about 15 to 18 feet. So it's going to take a little bit of time to raise them up, that you'll see.
And Matt, these rams, when we were building the machine, these rams actually came off dump trucks. So, I mean, there was no parts that we could buy at Home Depot for this, you know, we had to totally design the whole thing. These came off dump trucks. I think the hub in here came off an old fire truck,
yeah.
You know, and then we kind of built it within this whole frame here. So it's a bit of a business. You spin it for them, or you at least tilt it for them, right?
And also, guys, once we have it all the way up, this cable, there's a cable right over here. You can't really see very well, but it actually controls his fan. So we pull that cable completely free, so he'll actually lose power for his fans for a few seconds. And then once he's ready, they pull this guy down, and it allows us to tilt this guy way over. And he tilts over 90 degrees. And once he's here, he sits here for a few seconds, and he has a little fun there at that point. And at that moment, we're able to spin him. We spin him, what, 10 rotations total?
Yeah.
Total, so he goes around and round and round and round. Tries not to get too dizzy. And we take him right back up after that point. So it goes up just as smooth.
Look at that. Smooth.
Very smooth.
You can see on here, guys, that my loom is wound in the opposite direction. Just turn it off for a second, Matt. But my loom is wrapped in the opposite direction to the spin. So as it spins, that snake there can be pulled off as the thing turns around, because as Matt was saying, if it goes too fast, and that's happened before where Matt's had to stop the machine because the spins so fast, and if the guy loses grip on the snake coming off the thing, I mean, it can be a mess real quick. We actually had one show where it disconnected from it went so quick that the plug disconnected from the whole stage box. So we never want that to happen again, but it can happen, like we were talking about before. But there it is, in a nutshell. Hey guys, it's Duncan with the Newsboys. I want to welcome you up onto my drum kit. I play DW drums. I love these drums. I've loved them forever. I actually have played other drums in the day, but I was always really jealous of the sound that guys used to get out of DW drums. So if you can't beat them, join them, right? So I contacted them a few years back, and I have a great relationship with them. This is actually a custom kit. It's kind of an odd sizing because these are only 18-inch kick drums. And I know that for most drummers, typical size is 22, even 24. But for what we do, our stuff's really poppy. And I want a kick drum sound that's just going to punch. I need it to move air. I need it to sound almost more, well, very pop, for want of a better term. These kick drums sound stinking amazing. I cannot believe, my friend a house guy, he just cannot believe how much bottom end I get out of these 18-inch kick drums. So they're 18 by 16 inches deep. And as you can see here, I've got a short stack toms. They're called short stacks. And they're a speciality to, I know other drum companies make them, but DW, I kind of told them what I wanted. They were maple shells, and as you know, DW, they run all their pliers different ways to get different amounts of bottom end out of the drums. So my 12-inch here is only 6 inches deep, which is pretty unusual. Typical size is 12 by 8 or even 12 by 9 for some of the deeper toms. My 14 is only 7 inches deep. My 18-inch tom here is only 12 inches deep. So really, really shallow. But what I love about that is I can get I mean, you look at a rototom, right? There's no shell at all, but you can get rototoms sounding massive. So all that tone is coming out of the head. And getting to heads, I love these Evans EC2s. As you can see, the Evans head makes some of the best heads in the world. I've got a great relationship with them, as I have with ProMark sticks. I play ProMark sticks, so another great company that I've got the privilege to work with. But these EC2s matched up with these DW drums just sound absolutely monstrous. So the great thing with having a shallow drum or shallow shell is you get way more attack. So a lot of times with the bigger drums, the deeper the drum, you tend to lose it in the mix because it's so big and boomy that you really do tend to lose that. Because with a shorter stack tom, the sound waves don't have as far to move. They go down to the resonating head, only 12 inches instead of 18 or 16, and move all the way. So you get this, the bigness of a big drum, but then you get this awesome attack and tone of a shallower shell. So, and as I said, microphones are equally as important. We choose to use Audio-Technica microphones. These are big diaphragm microphones. My thing is, how can you get a great drum sound out of a microphone that has a diaphragm that big? My diaphragms are that big, so the replication of sound, as big as these drums sound, I'm able to replicate that through these Audio-Technica microphones. So it really is, in my opinion, this beautiful marriage. Great drums, great drum heads, great sticks, and then last but certainly not least, my cymbals. I choose to play Pasty Signature Series cymbals. It is my opinion they're just the best and sweetest sounding cymbals on the market today. So I've been very fortunate to work with some of the best companies in the world. And but getting back to my drums, just super quick, we had to work out a way that we could attach my DW drums to the riser itself. And if you pan down to my legs here, these legs are completely custom made because I had to make it work to fit the drum, but then I had to make it fit inside the attachment that was drilled into the platform itself. Same with the toms, I had to work out a way how to move that. Then you got your pedals. How do you make your pedals stay in place? How do you make your pedals not slide around? So we had to develop a whole system where we could make sure that the pedals were attached down super tight, but then if something goes wrong with my pedal, I've got to make sure I can get off real quick. So we've got a great system with wing nuts. We can tighten up real quick, get the pedal on, or get it off real quick if we have to. Say with my hi-hat, and I got a double kick over here, so we had to develop a system where the hi-hat, my left foot and my hi-hat were anchored to the platform itself. So there's a lot went into this thing, and we do it every night. We do it 4 nights a week, and it's just one of those things. I'm going to have to keep fit for a long time because it's a workout, let me tell you. Now the size of my Pasty cymbals, it's a very personal thing when you're talking about cymbal sizes. I used to use kind of 16 to 18s. These are all 20s. And what I love about the 20s, especially the Pasty, they're so sweet sounding. But if I want to get on and I want to start riding that crash for any reason, I can. Typically with a smaller crash, it gets a little bit obnoxious when you're riding that because you tend to hear every hit. With a bigger crash like a 20-inch Pasty, you can really ride that, and because it's a bigger cymbal, it will tend to ride more than say a smaller cymbal. They sound big, they sound great. And then check this thing out. This is a 20-inch Pasty signature China that just will not break. I've smacked the crap out of these things for years, and it will not break. So I'm trying to get a break so I can get a new one, but it just won't. It's been amazing. Then I've got the 14-inch signature hats, and then I do have an 18 signature. This is just a full crash over here on my left, just to give it a little bit of a different voicing than the 20s I've got over here. So that's my cymbal setup. And of course, I can't forget my ride. This is a 22, 21, I think it's 21, 22-inch ride, Pasty, signature there again, super sweet sounding, and sometimes I might even ride on that if I feel the need. Yeah, so let's real quick talk about the seat. Now, it's all the drums been great. They've been attached, they want to slide up, that's one thing. But the next thing is I don't want to fall off either. So we had to specially make a custom seat. As you can see, it's not real pretty, but it works. But look at the bracing here. There's so much leveraged weight on this seat when I go spinning over. I weigh about 165 pounds. So you imagine that spinning like this, spinning around like this, there's a lot of leverage weight. So we had to make this platform here. This gets bolted down by these 4 big industrial bolts every day. We've got bracing on here. I mean, that is a custom seat that pretty much only suits my booty because I don't have much of one. So I wanted to make it as tight as I could because I wanted to kind of fit snugly around me. But the thing is, I'm a little guy, so anyone that's kind of over 5'9", 5'10" has a real problem sitting in it. So, which is a good thing. This is actually this is an extra bit we got off. I think we got that off a DW throne that I kind of attached there, and that just gives me a little bit more support on my back, on my lower back when I'm spinning around. And see these here? These are racing car straps. We got these a few years back. They've been great, but these are like a quick release racing car strap that I put across right here, kind of that holds my hips. I didn't want anything over here. Like I've seen drummers before, a lot of great drummers, you know, they've got these 5-point harnesses and stuff like that. I wanted it to look like I'm not wearing anything at all. So I wear a lot of black, and then of course these straps are black. So it kind of sits and kind of keeps my hips locked into that seat, and then the rest I can be free to do what I want. So there's that. Hey guys, last but certainly not least, Duncan with the Newsboys again. Thanks for hanging out and spending some time with me today. If you want to keep in contact with Newsboys, of course we're on Facebook, newsboys.com, Instagram. Me personally, Newsboys Drummer on Instagram. I'm at Duncan on Sue, which if you don't know about Sue is an amazing context where people like the platform actually pays you for your content. So I'm super excited about Sue. It's spelled TSU. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm just Duncan Phillips on Twitter. So stay in touch. If you have any questions about my DW drums, my pasty cymbals, Pro Mark 6, Evan drum heads, or anything Newsboys do, make sure you come find me online.